Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Days of Europe as Sverdlovsk. Now, in the last video, we were preparing for a possible conflict with either the remnants of a West Soviet Republic or the Black League. Turns out the Black League beat the West Republic, and they kind of beat us with a punch, so now we are at war with them. A little bit of a hit, you know, quick little action, but it is what it is there. And well, we got a pretty solid path figured out. We are working towards integrating the aviators. I blanked on their name for a second. And we could probably work on the internal enemies. So let's do that. Subversives inside Sverdlovsk pose just as much of a threat to our nation as do the enemy soldiers standing at our borders. Thus, our failure to contain them has led to a disheartened army with significantly high desertion rate, as well as the consistent leaking of state secrets into the Black League. We must identify who within the state poses a threat to our country for to end this disruptive force. If we do not end these threats from within, then we should surely be conquered by the threats without. It's a complicated thing that we got to worry about, but I think focusing on it is the right path. So what, infrastructure? Let's do this, and I guess this as well. That'll be good. I'll do this. I believe I didn't get a chance to read this, so I'll go ahead and do that real quick. The 588th Night Bomber Regiment, otherwise known as the Night Witches or the Free Aviators, are heroes through and through. They served my land with not only dignity, but valor during the Great Patriotic War and continue to do so since, arranging sorties against the Nazi bombers from their main base in Surgut. We've always had a special relationship with the aviators due to our shared ties with Soviet armed forces. Integrating the aviators into our nation would not only further our control of Western Siberia, but grant us access to their expertise in aerial combat, not to mention their bomber wings. Now that would work. Now they're starting to push. That's what I was curious about, whether they do or not. And we're holding for the most part. In fact, it looks like we can start some counterattacks. Bad day to be Polish. In TNO, it's always a bad day to be Polish, I'm afraid. And they're making some pushes off the bat, but we are also countering. Our borders remain porous, and infiltrators from both Human and Omsk slither through every unpatrolled gap. Some of the patrolled gaps too, apparently. They damage infrastructure vital to our internal trade system. They turn civilian military personnel against us with propaganda and rhetoric, not actual truth. Revisionist partisan damage our military facilities and assist the enemy during the raids in order to weaken us for inexorable attacks. Black League operatives are far more antisocial, launching car bombs and IED attacks. They also engage in full-blown shootouts with local garrisons. These elements are a threat to our nation and people and must be dealt with at once. There we go. Let's go ahead and we'll do this. Why not? And then we'll get working on towards the insanity of Yazov. With the death of Gorbachev, we were hopeful that the nightmare in Omsk was finally over. It appears our assumptions were wrong. At only 38 years old, Dmitry Yazov continues his predecessor's tradition of ultra-nationalist militarism and focus on destroying Germany. While we aren't necessarily in opposition to such a name, Yazov has decided that in order to complete this goal, he will have to conquer all of Russia, and we stand right at his doorstep. Already, Omsk has begun preparing for the conflict with Sverdlovsk through the mass collection of what we thought was secure information. Among the files are our current industrial capacities, army size, and many of our plans for expansion. Plugging these information leaks and rooting out Yuzov spies are our top priority, quite literally. Maybe not the top priority, but one of the top. We've captured Lenin's body, which is fun. This attack's not going quite as good as I was hoping it would. I'm a little confused about some of these lines of attack here. Can I go ahead? Yeah, I can go ahead and do that. LBJ. Owing to Vitayo's efforts at airspeed and a noticeable uptake in civilians identifying and reporting enemies, we have reported the last Black League still operating in our territory has been thoroughly destroyed. Any minor souls that have been cataloged will be wiped out post-haste. He also reports that efforts to separate and de-radicalize subjects and advisors in the military have borne through and played a major role in locating hideouts and preventing several terrorist attacks. Black Gang has been purged from Sverdlovsk, but we must remain vigilant, with their network in shambles and their contacts either imprisoned or dead. The people of Sverdlovsk can breathe easy, knowing that there are no Black League agents among them. Now we must fix our eyes to the east, where final confrontation with Omsk awaits. To the ISB, the silent protectors of Sverdlovsk. Speaking of which, let's create this new security service. Dealing with these new threats will necessitate the creation of an agency designed to fight the spies and dissensions in a way that the brute force of the army cannot. An agency similar to that of the NKVD. The ISB will be charged with keeping track of state secrets, identifying troublesome agitators, and making sure that all who serve in the government are who they say they are and doing what the government asks of them. The organization will keep the state operational no matter the conditions. There we go. So this front is a little, it's going a little awkwardly. You hold off. Yeah, you just do that for now. Tanks evidently aren't doing the best right now. But hopefully we can use these guys to encircle. Lenin's body lost. We'll figure that out in time. You attack into there, you move into there. So we got a little bit of encirclement, and we'll go with that. That's hopefully our best bet right now. How are we doing casualty-wise? 18 versus 15k, we're about matched. They just probably have a better military ideas going for them. National focuses, let's go ahead and do... I guess we could do Operation Black. Omsk, the Black League, Dmitry Azov, they are all one the same. Karbashev was a broken man, pushed past the edges of sane thought by Nazi torture, but he was also old and increasingly senile. Azov is different. He's younger, sharper, and smarter. His insanity makes him even more dangerous than his deceased master. Now Omsk is the biggest challenge to our continued survival in western Siberia and must be dealt with before Azov's crusade for revenge kills us all. There we go. Pacific Fleet. Arkady Forchinovic's office was on the third floor of what he assumed had been an apartment building. It had been expropriated by the Third Army and made headquarters of the ISB, the new agency he was now the leader of. One of the peculiarities of this building was that his office was the only one on the entire third floor, and that's how he knew the posters were signed. They were greasy with ink and wheat base, and they all said the same thing in thick black letters. The Black League, the rebirth of Russia. It didn't take long to clear them of his door, but at the same time he felt like he was being watched. Instead, he hung up his trench coat and papaka and sat behind his desk, cracking open the file that the military compiled of seditious activity. It was thicker than his wrist, stuffed with AARs, autopsy reports, eyewitness interviews, samples of Revision League propaganda, photos of graffiti. Enemy agents were crawling all over the place, it seemed. Now, they were even in... He heard a metal click from down the door. Footsteps, rapid and purposeful. He tore open one of the drawers of his desk and pulled out his Tokarev as the door swung open. His would-be assassin jumped back in fright. Christ! It's just me. Eric, one of his assistants, said. Arkady sighed in relief and lowered his gun. Eric put his old ornate steel lighter in his pocket and took a drag of his cigarette. Kolya and I were going to get some drinks. You want to come? Arkady thought for a second, his eyes downcast at the file splayed out in front of him. No thanks. I got work to do. Well, we're going to move... Motherfucker. That's not the worst, actually. Actually, the fact that you did that is a little confusing. But we'll pin you there and then get that going. Got the Ural Automotive Plant. You two start attacking into there. We'll get the encirclement off. And that's what we needed to do. We'll have you do that. Yeah, there we go. We're starting to do something good here. Order 270, on the All-Russian Black League of Omsk and counter-terrorist and extremist operations, all available formations of the Third Army, as well as any ancillary formations, are to be deployed against the All-Russian Black League government in Omsk. Third Army general direction is as follows. 1. Forces are to advance along the Irtysh River, with Tobolsk front along the east bank, and the Ishim front along the west. 2. Enemy forces capable of giving battle will be destroyed. 3. The city of Omsk will be enveloped by motorized formations in order to prevent the escape of enemy forces. 4. Omsk will be occupied and the Black League disbanded. All preparations will be made by and for the Third Army are to be reported to the Supreme Command of the Ural Military District. One such threat to the success of the operation is radicalism and citizenry. Terrorist attacks may slow or even endanger the offensive. In any such cases, extremists will be apprehended alive when possible and in prison. Counter-extremism operations will focus on, in order, preventing attacks, detecting threats, denying suspected threats, any means of conducting attacks, and defeating attacks should they occur. Rehabilitating and de-radicalizing prisoners will be of the utmost priority in order to facilitate the pacification of Omsk. Signed, Konstantin Rokozovsky. More manpower and war support? It's ultranationalism. Will it be enough, though? Hopefully. Sverdlovsk is Novosibirsk is a little better. Let's try to promise them a better life. We don't know that much about Omsk. Nobody does. Spies that go in don't come out. The only thing that does is repetitive propaganda. What we do know is that Omsk is a society carefully crafted and maintained in preparation for a war unlike any other that's been fought before. It's wholly totalitarian, and we can use that against them. By broadcasting messages across the border, we can reach the people of Omsk and promise them a better life, one free from their omnipresent and omnipotent oppressor, the Black League. Oh crap, so these guys are cut off. That's not good. There goes Slovakia. No, you stay there, pal. Now you guys get back to all of this. And then you go there, you pin them there. Okay, shoot, we can set a new unit. Okay, you save your... Okay, crap. That's not what I meant. Was hoping would happen. Although, so they have cores on that. Can we just rush in? A VP rush to Omsk? Perhaps? Some encirclements going? Got another pocket. You stay there for now, soldier, actually. And they could maybe save that group right there, but it looks like they're not. So let's get recon groups. Protecting the state from those that would steal our secrets and provoke rebellion in our lands are certainly important function, but to do such things to others would be equally valuable. The new Security Bureau will be equipped with a department dedicated to offensive missions such as infiltration, extraction, and espionage. These recon groups, as they will be referred to officially, will perform cross-border weapons smuggling, intelligence gathering operations, and assassinations should we need them to. There we go. Not bad. Well, hypothetically, in case you want to do anything, let's move you into there. Yeah. Move you and take that. Now knowledge is everything. Vital to the functions of a new security bureau will be its ability to retrieve information and decrypt it. A committee has been put together consisting of former Soviet spies, NKVD officers, and code breakers, which will begin recruiting those considered to have the necessary skills to work for the ISB. Already dozens of spies being trained in secure locations across Sverdlovsk as junior code breakers begin decrypting enemy communications and information. Soon, no secret anywhere in Russia will be hidden to us. And it was that easy, actually. There we go. We did really just had a VP rush them. That works. So let's offer to integrate the free aviators first. And then from here, get something on the front lines there. What do we need to improve? Power tools, maybe expertise, maybe research facilities. Let's do the workers. Kinky, I know. Decapitated monster, beautiful. Our agreement with Surgut is a symbiotic one, forged from years of close cooperation and mutual respect. Now the situation in western Siberia is stabilizing, the time has come to carve the bond between the 3rd Army and the 588th into stone. We shall send an officer to Surgut to formally integrate their territory into the district. This is a logical culmination of our mutual cooperation. Both Sverdlovsk and Surgut will gain from the latter's integration. We have unfettered access to their air wings, with which we may coordinate sorties against enemy forces, while they will have full access to resources of Sverdlovsk proper, with which they can provide for their constituents. It's a win-win situation, really. Let's get some anti-tank going. And the front's looking pretty thick. It's between them and the Aryans, because the Samara machine is in fact broken, it seems. Early fighters. An operative can be recruited. Let's go with Yelena Denikin. Why not? After all, knowledge is everything. Oh, there we go. Nice. As we expected, free aviators have accepted our offer for integration. Trucks faring in the city's new garrison were cheered by the local inhabitants, and the Bershankaya and the rest of the Night Witches were awarded their long-due Hero of Soviet Union medals by Marshal Rokossovsky himself in public ceremony 1905 square. The integration of Surgut marks the first piece of Russia outside of Sverdlovsk to fall under our control. I don't know about the first. Will not be the last. That's right, at least. Already the aviators proving themselves to be valuable allies in our plight. They have promised to kickstart our Air Force by sharing their wealth of knowledge regarding aerial combat and give our aviation industry the boost it deserves. With them on our side, our dominance in the sky is all but assured. Mitsuli Vicets. Probably butchered that, I apologize, but thought that counts. And the thought of anyone else reuniting Russia right now is unlikely. This knowledge is everything. Let's go ahead and sow fear into their ranks. And then we'll get working on some of this stuff, I think. The bandits of Yuga are a little more than a disorderly band of criminals, and criminals are all the same. There is no honor among thieves. No loyalty. They act like they are the most powerful men in Russia, but when it comes time to back that claim up, they run like wild dogs. All we have to do is perform some simple exercise on the border and fly some planes over the cities, and the troops will be too petrified of our military power to mount any sort of resistance. I mean, you say that, but I've seen the AI Sverdlovsk crash and burn against Yugra, so don't get cocky, kids. Okay, Novosibirsk versus Tomsk. Certainly an interesting series of events. It looks like your Kutz is going to win. That seems to be typical. I don't think I think I need a root for either necessarily, because I'm pretty sure either, you know, I'll be able to unify peacefully with either if they so wish. So now let's just clear the bandits. Yugra stands in the way for unifying the Western Urals. There will be no compromise. There can be no compromise, not with Vori. They live to hoard wealth like the czars of old and plunder the same innocent people that we strive to protect. These disorganized bandits should stand no chance against our well-oiled war machine. We must meet these bandits with the full force of the Third Army and bring them to justice for their crimes. Well, let's move onward. Okay, Samar versus VAB. Let's do a road to Surgut. The goal of integrating with the free aviators into Sverdlovsk will require more than kind words and minor industrial assistance. Years of aerial combat with Germany over and around the free aviator territories has inflicted major damage on the infrastructure that once connected Surgut to the rest of Russia. Many of the roads and rail lines affected ran through Sverdlovsk just as well as Surgut. Rebuilding these connections would benefit us and could help to bring us into good favor with the aviators. Well, there we go. That'll work. Yeah, the infrastructure here is not the best, it seems. Democracy returns to Italia. In fact, the infrastructure... Oh, okay, that's interesting. Tomsk winning, that's okay. I can deal with that. Move in, take their capital. These bandits cannot defeat an army, wouldn't you know it? Let's do a bit of looting, and then let's prepare for Vorkuta. Well, can we do anything with Lenin's body? Or is that just done? It might just be done. Working on coring. Let's get working on Operation Red. With Ukraine under our control, we may now push further north into the same frozen war camps the Vori came from. What remains of the Gulag's guards have flocked to Vasily Blokin's banner, who rules to this day with the same iron fist he used to snuff out countless thousands of lives back when he worked for the NKVD. We'll drop plans for an attack on Vorkuta at once. There we go. More rifles for now. No divisions in basic training. That's okay. Now these tank divisions, they don't seem to be the best, actually. But what are you going to do there, I guess? An offensive line into Vorkuta. And that's probably the most we're going to have to do. Order number 303 on the Vorkuta Corrective Labor Camp of Vorkuta. All available formations of the 3rd Army, as well as any ancillary formations, are to be deployed against the Vorkuta Collective Labor Camp. The 3rd Army's general direction is as follows. The northern front is to advance until all enemy presences south of the Usa River is defeated by way being destroyed. 2. Bridgeheads across the Usa will be captured or established. 3. Once supply lines are under no threat from the enemy encirclements, a single thrust towards Vorkuta will force enemy formations out of the city in the Vorkutlag area. 4. NKVD presence will be wiped out, and the Department of Labor Colonies of the People's Commissariat of Internal Affairs will be dissolved in perpetuity. All preparations made by and for the 3rd Army to report to the Supreme Command of a Euro Military District. Signed, Konstantin Rokozovsky. The blood of snow drips from his hands. Let's give them an offer for surrender. Blokin seems to have no grand vision for Russia. He has no ideological commitments, not even to the front. Knowing this, perhaps he can be reasoned with. He may surrender his territories to us if we promise him a high-level position in our administration. Even most free societies still need jailers. It's an interesting idea. The front versus the tankies. Ooh, Siberian Workers' Front. We'll see what happens there. Let's get working on some tanks, because I have a feeling we'll need some. And then an offer for surrender. We'll give him a few days. In a puzzling display of defiance, Blokin has refused our offer for surrender. Perhaps his lust for power has finally driven him off the edge of sanity. Sane thought. Perhaps he was paranoid. He thought our offer was too good to be true. Well, maybe just didn't like the idea of answering to someone else again after all these years. Regardless, it's a shame that he would rather subject his men to the freezing cold and certain defeat by our superior forces than see reason. There's a silver lining. Now we can drop any pretense of giving Blokin a chance to redeem himself and prosecute him like the mass murderer he is. No matter. Cut him down. For one foolish reason or another, Blokin refuses to go quietly. All the better for us in the long run. Mass murderers like him deserve no place in the new Russia, let alone in our government. His men are nothing more than prison guards with inflated egos. They cannot stand to the 3rd Army. We shall strike his name in Vorkuta from the history books with ease. So it's been a little while since I recorded this. I think it was at the start of this month. Around the 2nd or 3rd. It is now the 9th. It's Mother's Day. So, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I guess this is my Mother's Day gift to you all. Even though, well, let's see. It's first part's supposed to be dropping the 10th. So that's my Mother's Day gift. But, might as well wish you all well wishes and all that. So let's go ahead. Since Workers North, Surgut's lifeblood is in its oil resources. Most nations in this region purchase oil from Surgut's supply, and demand for the black gold is ever increasing. Sverdlovsk's oil demand has increased steadily as our reunification campaign has progressed. This trend is bound to continue as we begin to deploy motorized and armored divisions. Despite this, Surgut has struggled to capitalize on the situation and increase output. The biggest limiting factor for Surgut appears to be the manpower available to extract resources. By offering the service of our own workers and engineers, we may be able to boost our oil outputs from our own consumption and improve relations with free aviators. Not a bad idea at all. I think, have we got working on doctrines? Not yet, so let's get working on combined operations. Well, never again. Not like this. Let's go ahead and start reinstating region-wide administration. We'll deal with Sverdlovsk near the end, maybe we'll start next time. But at long last, victory is ours. All organized threats to our rule have been vanquished. One flag flies over western Siberia, a land free from tyrant and brigand alike. The reunification of Russia shall soon be within our grasp. For now, we have more pressing concerns. Our conquests are impressive, but also expansive. Even with the Third Army stretched as thin as it is, vast stretches of land in our periphery have become lawless wastes. Power vacuums waiting for the next Yezhov to fill it. We must assert our administration's rule in these areas before we lose control of them. So we will demobilize a little bit, lose a little bit of stability, and decrease coring time. Which isn't too bad, since we're going to have to go after these guys sooner rather than later. I'm also thinking we should go ahead. Let's go ahead and get the 20 woods going. A little surprised we didn't already, but hey, better late than never. And then region-wide, we'll go ahead and wait a few days for that. Pacific Light. So that should reduce the time. Yeah, 55 days. Our mission to unite Western Siberia has been completed. Well, through our army, we've cleansed the Urals of various warlords and challengers. The Tridents of Team and reactionaries have almost been defeated and remained a lone victor. General Kozovsky will be forever remembered as a hero of the land. We must not forget those who died sacrificing their lives for the unification of West Siberia. Now, as our jubilant soldiers celebrate, we must begin the reconstruction and integration of our new lands. The people of the Urals have hope, new hope for the future, as the army parades through the streets of Sverdlovsk. People do not want to live as they did under the chaos under the warlord era ever again. We cannot make the same mistakes of the West Siberian People's Republics made 10 years ago. A trustworthy general like Rokozovsky must lead Russia, not a corrupt tyrant like Ganvik or a madman like Yuzov. A new generation must rise and take Russia onto a different path. Modernization and reforms will be needed, and we will need powerful leadership to gather strength for wars to come. But now we can celebrate our victory in a new path for Russia. Let the people feel the joy that they have not felt in 30 years. We must proclaim our victory to the world. In the sweet, sweet, sweet victory, yeah. Let the bells on the failing, so for the pain. I forget how the song goes. Let's do this real quick. Despite the large industrial base we are now in control of, much of it is either inert or destroyed. No doubt thanks to scorcher policies by our enemies. This presents us with two problems for the price of one. Not only are Omsk's oil fields useless and Tiumen's heavy industrial centers non-functional, hampering our ability to further reunite Russia, but the workers of these areas are jobless and likely more hostile to our administration. These vital economic locations must be rebuilt, renovated, and reorganized at once. There we go. So we'll ease off on some of the tanks. Actually, we'll do that. Let's just get some more artillery for now. What? Really? Well, that's interesting. I have never seen that before. Oh, so much for democracy. Shit. In Italy. Let's go ahead and connect some rail networks. Yeah. Between the terror bombings and the collapse of the West Siberian People's Republic, hundreds of kilometers of tracks were destroyed, left to decay, or cannibalized for war production. While the latter was never a great idea, we now have the opportunity to rebuild the railways in our nation, which will stimulate economic growth and facilitate troop movements. We should start by reconnecting the lines between Sverdlovsk, Tyumen, and Omsk. That ought to work just brilliantly. I'm down for that. We're demobilizing a little bit, which is okay. Commonwealth Siberia having some issues, but they're working it out. How's that going for you, Kostin? Let's enforce some martial laws. The cities of Tyumen and Omsk are ours, but so far their captures have been solely symbolic victories. Holdouts Ganovic and Yazov's followers still operate out of urban areas throughout the reconquered territories. They have become a creeping, invisible cancer that must be excised before they consume us from within. To fight these terrorists, the cities must be locked down. Some say that suspending civil law in habeas corpus is a betrayal of our ideals of liberty and freedom, but in the face of men, no. In the face of monsters who would destroy everything we stand for in the blink of an eye, these detractors will fall silent soon enough. For the greater good, of course. The AB, Aryan Brotherhood, versus the front. I know who I'm rooting for. Watch it. If they somehow win, I'm going to be impressed. I mean, they're making more pushes than they're losing territory. Let's go and promote some heroes next. Soldiering is a thankless job. Facing death and dismemberment day in and day out is stressful, physically taxing, and horrible for morale. Once a dragoon in the Imperial Army, Konstantin Rokossovsky knows this all too well. As opposed to idolizing the dead, we must instead focus on the brave sons of the Third Army who are still alive, who still fight for the betterment of all Russia. We must recognize our valiant soldiers for proving their merit in battle and commend them for their heroism. Yeah, that'll work. And then we have nothing else other than to go after the merchants. Hungary sides with Germany. Sounds like Long Yun is going for his shot at revenge. The meeting hall was small but immaculately decorated. Banners bearing the standard of various corps and divisions of the Third Army hung over the stages. The flag of the old Union of the district hung, one from each side. The audience was divided into two sections, one for the guests, mostly military personnel, and one for the recipients. Standing in the recipient section, Kirill was a statue, just like every other soldier who was being promoted. On the inside, though, he felt like he was going to throw up. He could handle getting his commission. Junior Lieutenant Kirill Yablonsky sounded wonderful to him. But the thought of finally meeting Marshal Rokossovsky face to face for all Sverdlovsk to see made his stomach turn. He didn't know why. Kirill was so deep in thought that he almost didn't hear his name being called. He smoothed out his uniform and tried not to shake too much as he walked on stage. Rokossovsky stood beside a podium, with Generals Petov and Bragomyan by his side. He smiled as Kirill shook his hand, then pinned the medals to Kirill's chest and handed him his epaulets. Gold, with one star and a single red line down the middle. Kirill saluted, as did Rokossovsky, and spoke without thinking. "Thank you, Marshal." "Thank you for your service, comrade," he replied. "Your heroism brought you here. It's the least I could do." He turned back to the audience and congratulated the newly appointed officers. The room erupted into a round of applause, and Kirill thought about all the pain and torment he'd endured during his time with the Third Army. For a long, shimmering moment, it was all worth it. The defenders of our liberty deserve their thanks. And now there's only one thing left to do. The devil's cornered. When the bombings ended, many in Sverdlovsk were unsure as to the military district's position in this new post-Luftwaffe age for Russia. It's been apparent now that Sverdlovsk stands among the strongest powers in Russia, having taken out both Omsk and Tyumen, two of the strongest warlords in western Russia. This is no time to rest on the laurels, however. There still remain threats to Sverdlovsk still. Zlatoust is one such threat. Their arms trade is pumping high-quality weapons directly into the hands of those who would have us destroyed. That said, Zlatosa has an extremely well-equipped military, a bank with which to hire endless mercenaries. Conquering the small nation could end up forcing us to expend far more resources than we can afford. Consequently, it might be more beneficial to give an offer of integration before authorizing military action against Latost. I guess we will go ahead and see. What can we go ahead and improve? I guess research facilities. Now let's do research facilities. More artillery. Guess we're... Dragunov has declined our offer for his surrender, citing Zlatov's position as a neutral arbiter and business partner for all Russian nations. The Marshal shares his desire for peace and prosperity for all Russians. Unfortunately, his refusal to abandon his neutral stance means he is ultimately against us and must be dealt with as the Marshal sees fit. It's no surprise that Dragunov rejected us. He was never on our side to begin with. He was more willing to arm Tyumen and Omsk, so long as they paid him. And he has no doubt been responsible for countless thousands of deaths across Russia. The only thing he cares about is money, and his lust for profit has driven him to abandon any and all moral principles. He is a gunsmithing genius, but also a war criminal that we must push down. Time to pay the bill, Evgeny. Oh, you done goofed, buddy. Well. Oh yeah, this is... God, it was hard to defeat them in the Omsk game, or more time-consuming. Oh god, they got a gun. Yeah, Jesus, that was easy. That was fucking easy. Now we're one step closer. The deed is done. Inside and out, the Ural Military District stands supreme, indivisible and invincible. Now that internal enemies have been put to rest, we can go about properly and fully reincorporating the newly retaken territories into a united polity, strengthening our hold on the region. There are still millions of square kilometers left to liberate, and countless foes standing in our way. The road ahead is long. It shall be littered with the blood of tyrants and the brave soldiers who killed them alike. But for now, the hope for a greater, stronger Russia will ride with us, the men and women courageous enough to carry the flame into the darkness. For now, we are one step closer. Do we hit the button? I think we hit the button. I'll wait till we core, and then we'll hit the button. I'll wait till this decision is done. Yeah, I'll wait till this focus is done. There we go. And with that, West Siberia has been torn by factionalism and cliques ever since the end of the West Siberian People's Republic, or even before it. But now one of these factions has managed to come out on top, and it's the Sverdlovsk military government. Centered in the city of the same name, the junta has managed to defeat its key opponents and other powerful remnants of the West Siberian People's Republic, and extend its control over the less powerful ones. The threats to this regime are few and small, with most experts on Russian affairs agreeing that a force equal to the old Socialist Republic has arisen. However, the dictatorship's leader, Konstantin Rokossovsky, has refrained from making correlations with the Republic, preferring to portray his regime as a new one. A new candidate for Russian dominance has appeared. There we go. We got a whole new research slot, so let's get working on some industry. And we can get working on... What do we want to get working on, honestly? I'm not sure. Romanov, huh? Our poverty rate could be a lot better, so I think we'll get working right off the bat on poverty. Building slots and infrastructure will be good too. Poverty relief programs. That looks like it'll be good, so I'll do that too. And then, no more political power. Today's a bleak day for the district. Marshal Konstantin Rokozovsky passed away last night after a lengthy battle with prostate cancer, no doubt exacerbated by his many years of service in the harsh Siberian climate. His last words were, "I've done all I can do for now. Go on, let me rest." Rokozovsky was one of the Soviet Union's finest generals, and he served with the Russian people with distinction and pride. Even when all the hope seemed lost during the long, brutal years of German terror bombings, he never stopped trying to save every life he could. And when the bombings ended, he led Sverdlovsk through its most turbulent years yet, leading the Third Army to victory against the armies of Kaganovich and Yazov. His successor is his close friend and personal aide, General Pavel Batov, whose claim to the mantle of leadership is contested by none. He is survived by his wife, Galina, and his 2 daughters, Ariadna and Nadezhda. Suvorov takes the reins. Even though it says Batov. Oh, the modern Suvorov, okay. Well, here we are. And I think I'll wait to read this until next time, potentially. I'll explain what's going to be happening as soon as I figure it out. We gotta cut it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, hit the sub button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, well, not every Saturday, occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, any sort, check out my Patreon, my Discord. If you want to send me back to me every month, I have a Patreon. And if you want to see me do sort of live, I have a Twitch. All of which are down in the description box below. That's really it for now, ladies and gentlemen. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.